Chapter 1866 Humans of all generations on this planet. When Zhang Yi heard the word angel, his heart moved. He remembered hearing this term in other underground texts, but he had no idea what it meant. Many people have misunderstandings about words like God and angel, thinking that they are imported words, but in fact they are traditional Chinese words. God is mostly used to describe the 5 gods, while angels are emperors and messengers. In Journey to the West, Taibai Star Lord was called the Old Angel by Sun Wukong. The angels in water margin refer to officials sent by the emperor to take action. However, Zhang Yi felt that the angel in Ling Xiao was different from what he understood. Is the angel from the 2nd generation? Zhang Yi asked. Ling shook her head. No. Angels are a special group. They have no gender and cannot reproduce. The purpose of their birth is to teach ASU how to survive on this planet. The only difference between them and ASU is that they have extremely high spirituality. Spirituality is the power of survival and also represents wisdom. But later, the ASU group gradually disappeared because the creator found that the creation of this species was a complete failure. They survived, hunted and reproduced like wild beasts, and could not observe and understand the world as the creator expected. So the creator sent a great flood to destroy them. Zhang Yi sighed. The creator really doesn't understand the material world. Otherwise, how could he create a group of wild beasts? Ling nodded. The creator did not dare to create a race that was too powerful. As mentioned before, the creator's will was born from the collective of his spirits. If he wants to understand this world, he must separate his own spirituality. When these spiritual substances enter the bodies of intelligent creatures, they will cut off their connection with him and will not be under his control. If this group becomes too powerful and possesses too much spiritual power, it may even become the master and lose the control of the creator. Zhang Yi shrugged. The network between the main system and the 2nd system is disconnected. You are worried that the 2nd system will upgrade too fast, right? Maybe this concept, Ling said. However, after the first failure, the creator learned from his previous lessons. He believed that lower creatures could not complete the observation task, so when shaping the 2nd generation of life, he gave them extremely high spirituality. This generation of life is the most favored by the creator because they are very spiritual and have powerful wisdom. So they quickly created an extremely advanced civilization, and their observations of the world became more and more extensive. After creating the 1st generation, the creator originally believed that the universe had entered a state of perfect balance. But later, accidents still happened. Zhang Yi asked curiously, the creator's favorites, who can destroy them unless the creator does it himself? Ling stared at Zhang Yi. For some reason, Zhang Yi felt that her eyes were a little strange. Themselves. Ling Ru said, the 1st generation is too spiritual and has extremely high wisdom. This leads them to gradually realize the meaning of their existence and to observe the world as tools. And as civilization progressed, they slowly began to lose their fertility and began to isolate themselves. The young 1st generation tribesmen are addicted to the virtual world and are unwilling to accept the fact that they are tools. The development of civilization has also stagnated, and the tribe has even begun to show signs of shrinking. As a result, the world has come to a standstill. Ling paused for a moment, then slowly said, the 1st generation is called the Yihan tribe. That is us. Zhang Yi had long guessed in his heart that the great god-level civilization must have come from the ancient times and possessed extremely powerful strength and might have existed for an extremely long time. Because the longer a civilization exists, the higher the possibility that it will become stronger. Zhang Yi looked at Ling. If you stopped reproducing, why didn't you disappear? Ling said, it's simple, because we have mastered the technique of eternal life. This touches upon the forbidden power of the divine realm. Zhang Yi began to get excited. Carbon-based life forms can be said to be very capable of pursuing immortality. Human beings are afraid of death and have longed for immortality since ancient times. Unexpectedly, I actually saw the immortal seed. This also shows that the so-called 5 mass extinctions on this planet did not really destroy everything. Even the Ihan tribe can still retain their powerful wisdom. I said before that the Creator dispersed the ether into countless fragments and allowed them to enter the bodies of the created organisms, allowing them to sense the world. But even if the spiritual energy of the ether realm is very huge, if people do not die, then the power of the Creator will continue to weaken. So the self-destruction program of life is set by the Creator. After a person dies, the so-called soul, or spirit, will return to the ether with all its feelings in the material world. That is the heaven or hell in your mind. Because some spirits may return to the ether for a short time when their bodies die or are on the verge of death, and then return to the material world. They feel the life of other souls and feel the happiness and suffering of others. Spirit has similarity. After returning, it will be close to the spirit with which you had a strong relationship during your time in the material world. People who do evil will feel the pain of those who die because of their sins. People who do good will receive the rewards of giving good thoughts to others. Heaven is other people, hell is other people. This is the origin of heaven and hell. But in the final analysis, after returning, we will all become one, and our spirits will return to the ether. Zhang Yi asked curiously, "So your actions were punished by the Creator, and he wants to destroy you?" "No, the Creator did not do that." Ling shook her head. The favorite of the god of the Ihan tribe, his most satisfying masterpiece. Even if we spy on the secret of immortality, he still has hope for us. Moreover, if we stop reproducing, we won't get more spirits from the ether realm. The current spiritual energy is insignificant to the entire ether realm. Zhang Yi sighed when he heard this. In this way, your species can survive forever. There is no need to reproduce, and the number of individuals will not decrease. Isn't this a wonderful thing? Ling asked, "Is eternal life really a happy thing?" In a hopeless future, when you understand the meaning of your existence and the programs set by other beings, you will gradually lose the desire to exist. The world in front of Zhang Yi changed, from the birth of the planet to the rise of intelligent creatures, and then thousands of high-rise buildings rose above the earth, and science and technology developed rapidly. A creature that looks very similar to humans begins to dominate all things. Zhang Yi felt that all of this looked familiar. He suddenly remembered that the huge stone statue in the Black Room he found underground looked like this. Now that I think about it, it must be the things left behind by the Ihan people. The Creator loves the Ihan people, but he gradually becomes disappointed with them. He can't bear to destroy his most beloved creation with his own hands, but he also needs someone to continue to observe the material world for him. So, at this time, he combined his 2 previous failures and created the 3rd intelligent creature. That is, the 3rd generation in this world, Drucker. The Ihan people are indeed close to perfection, but we have too high an IQ and have learned to think for ourselves so that we can transcend the original setting of the Creator. We will not reproduce according to the will of the Creator and exist as an observer group. So, when the Creator shaped Drucker, he weakened their wisdom and strengthened their physical bodies. They have bodies that are extremely difficult to kill, but they have low IQs and are extremely brutal. So after they were born, they quickly became the most powerful beings on the planet. Even the Ihan clan, who have advanced intelligence, can hardly compete with them. Zhang Yi asked in confusion, "Ihan tribe, who are immortal and possess extraordinary intelligence, can't defeat Drucker? According to you, they should be a group of primitive people." Ling looked at him and explained, "I said before, after realizing the evil nature of this world, the Ihan people have begun to become indifferent to their own existence. They have no intention of competing with Drucker for anything and have been busy looking for the meaning of their own existence. When Drucker fully grows up, their barbaric way of growth will no longer be restricted by the Ihan tribe." Zhang Yi held his chin with one hand, lamenting that the Creator was unreliable. He is an omniscient and omnipotent God, but he created 3 generations of humans who are full of flaws. If Drucker is really like you said and can't even defeat the Ihen tribe, then you should be wiped out in the end, and there will be no human beings later. Ling nodded. You hit the nail on the head. In the image before his eyes, huge, ferocious, and terrifying gods appeared one after another on the wilderness of the planet. They are brutal and cruel and regard everything as their food. Animals, plants, and even soil will be swallowed into their stomachs. The Creator has endowed them with powerful vitality, making them almost difficult to kill. In front of them, those Ihen warriors who were fully armed and holding laser weapons were defeated in their charge. Finally, take action against the Druks and the Creator. Ling said, the talents given to this race are too powerful, even beyond the control of the Creator. The Creator allowed them to observe the material world, but did not allow them to destroy it. Every living thing will be destroyed wherever they pass. Even the Ihen tribe, the one that the Creator loves the most, will be eaten by them. The Creator hates these beasts, so he decided to destroy them completely. Zhang Yi blinked and asked, is there another big flood? Ling looked at Zhang Yi. There is indeed such a record. The Creator gave the Ihen tribe an oracle, asking them to store enough food in advance and hide underground or on the top of the mountain. Then he launched a great flood and completely submerged Druk. But not all of Drucker disappeared, and some of them survived. There is no other way. The Creator gave them too much vitality when he shaped them. The Druckers who survived quickly multiplied and grew stronger thanks to their ability to eat everything. Zhang Yi couldn't help but hold his forehead. It's really hard to kill. Ling said, seeing that Drucker was about to completely destroy the world he created. This time, the Creator was really angry. Zhang Yi raised his own new doubt. Isn't the Creator omniscient and omnipotent? If he can create the entire universe, why doesn't he just take action and wipe Drucker out of the world? Ling said, I have said that the Creator is the overall will of the etheric world. All intelligent creatures on the planet are part of the ether. In other words, each of us is a part of the Creator. Even if this kind of will is weak, according to the rules of the Creator, it cannot directly wipe us out. It can destroy the body, but the soul will live forever. Even the Creator can kill the species he created through force. Zhang Yi thought of something in his mind. Since entering the realm of Tsilon, I often hear whispers in my dreams and see a white, glowing ocean. So can we connect to the Ethereum world ourselves? Pondered secretly, and many long-standing questions in his mind seemed to begin to find answers. How did the Creator make us extinct in the end? Zhang Yi asked. Ling gave him a deep look, with a strange look in her eyes. But she also said, the Creator wanted to destroy Druk and protect the Ihen people. So they created the fourth generation. This time, we learned from the lessons of the previous 3 generations. We combined the characteristics of the Then and Druk tribes to create a species with strong bodies and extraordinary spirituality, the Yak people. So these species have both the form of the Then and the characteristics of the Druk. According to what you 6 generations said, they are orcs. Many images of ancient gods emerged in Zhang Yi's mind. Fuxi and Nuwa, with human heads and snake bodies, and Anubis, with human bodies and animal heads. Are the gods in those myths and legends handed down from generation to generation, the descendants of the previous generation? The Creator gave orders to the Yak people to fight the Druks and protect the Ihen people. Thus, a long war began between the 2 races. Zhang Yi asked, what is the final result? Ling said, at the beginning, the war between the 2 sides was very stalemate, and it was difficult for either side to defeat the other. But in the end, the Druks relied on their tenacious vitality and eventually exhausted the Jayaks. Zhang Yi took a breath of cold air. You guys are so lively. Not yet. The Creator gradually felt that Drucker's existence had begun to transcend his control, and thus he once again sent down divine punishment. Let the Yak people lead all the Druks to the largest land on the planet at that time, Panlu. Then let the Yak people and the Ihen tribe build ships in advance and leave this land. When there are only Druks left on this continent, God will use his divine power to summon a giant meteorite to sink the entire continent with one strike. At that time, Ponlu was in the center of the world, and its area was equivalent to that of Eurasia. After it was sunk, its fragments drifted in all directions and slowly formed other continents. Zhang Yi swallowed his saliva. Sinking the entire continent with one strike? I finally understood why those earthly beings were so terrified when facing the might of heaven. What kind of terrible power is that? Compared to the coming of the Ice Age, this is a real disaster. Could it be that the heavenly punishments I have seen before are all the will of the Creator? Ling said, "Just listen to me and all the doubts in your heart will be solved." Zhang Yi nodded and continued to listen with all kinds of questions in mind. Until this time, Drucker still has not died, and only a part of him has survived. Zhang Yi was stunned. Isn't this too lively? Ling smiled speechlessly. So, Drucker, this is the best strategy for the Creator. However, although we didn't die this time, our group did shrink. If it weren't for this, the next 2 generations of you wouldn't have been born. Zhang Yi was more interested in this matter. Tell us about what happened later, especially our previous generation of humans. How were they born, and why did they die? Ling said, "The problem of the Druckers has been temporarily solved, but the Creator still needs people to continue to observe the entire world for him. At this time, our Yihuan tribe has entered a state of self-isolation. The Yak people also suffered heavy losses in the war with the Drucks, and there are almost no people left. The Creator decided to create new humans. He chose some other species on the planet and began to use them as carriers to inject spirits into them. This is the 5th generation, the Yihuan tribe. The Creator believes that because of my excessive interference, the races that carry spirits have been plagued by problems. So when it came to the 5th generation of the Yuan tribe, he decided not to interfere. Instead, 4th generation of the Ark people acted as angels to help he grow. The Yak people taught the Yihuan people knowledge and language, allowing them to grow up quickly. When they reach a certain stage, the Yak people will leave. The Creator does not allow humans of the previous generation to appear in front of humans of the new generation, because that would affect their subsequent development and would be detrimental to the observation of the material world. The mystery in Zhang Yi's heart began to be slowly solved. I finally understood why there were so many earthly beings. That is the wisdom of previous generations. According to the will of the Creator, they cannot interfere with the lives of humans on the surface. Once they appear, they will be judged by the will of the Creator. Therefore, those legendary gods who taught humans language, writing, and various technologies are actually the gods of the previous generation of humans. It is our angel. Zhang Yi said, "I seem to be beginning to understand slowly. The world on the ground belongs to the current generation of humans. In addition, humans can live in a world that we cannot see, such as the deep sea and the earth. But there's plenty of space in those places, too. Why can't we develop a huge civilization on the ground or under the ocean?" This made Zhang Yi very confused. Because according to our observations, the number of people on Earth is obviously not very large. The total population of Nash is only a few 100,000. Although the Wulwan Empire is not sure about its exact number, judging by the number of top-notch aliens, it cannot be more than a large human kingdom. Ling said, "Because it's a spiritual problem." Spirit. Ling said, "The only purpose of human beings being created is to observe the material world for the Creator. But when the new human beings are born, the existence of the old human beings is no longer necessary. It's just like your device called a computer. When a new system is installed, the old system will be eliminated. So whether it's the Yak people or the Yihuan people, when they become angels and hide in the dark, their reproduction rate will slow down. As a result, most of them will slowly die out." Zhang Yi's mood was a little complicated. In other words, does this huge doomsday catastrophe covering the entire world mean that the Creator thinks that our generation of humans is unqualified and wants to erase us as well? If we stop having children and don't give new spirits to them, then we won't be able to reproduce normal offspring. Extinction is a matter of sooner or later. Unless. Zhang Yi looked at Ling. They can also gain eternal life, like the Yihan people. Why did Yi Huan disappear? Zhang Yi asked the biggest question in his mind. Perhaps if we figure out why the previous generation died, we can also find the truth about the end of the world. Find a way to avoid it, because we have Drucker's genes in our bones. Ling said in a deep voice. You are the masterpiece of the gods, a race created by integrating the previous defeats. You are not as spiritual as the Yihan tribe, nor as cruel as the Drucker tribe. But the combination of the two makes them both smart and brutal at the same time. But they don't fight like wild beasts. They even look very elegant on the surface. They created the most brilliant civilization in history, even surpassing us at its peak. But it also brought them destruction. Ling sighed. It is not the Creator who destroyed us, but ourselves. When science and technology developed to a certain extent, and our desires became more and more inflated, we began to destroy ourselves. A terrible civil war broke out among the various races of the Yihuan people, and some people died at the hands of their compatriots. During that period, the entire planet was filled with smoke. Zhang Yi felt that this situation sounded familiar, because the development trend of our generation over the past few hundred years has been moving in that direction. He couldn't help but tremble in his heart. Could it be that the end of the world is coming because the Creator sees the inevitable outcome of humans killing each other? But there was one thing Zhang Yi didn't understand. The resources in this universe are endless. If the war is caused by insufficient resources, why not develop the universe? With the technological level of you or the Yihuan people, you should be able to do it.